Picture this. It's late. You're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every what if your brain can find. What if the car breaks down? What if the rent goes up? What if something happens and you can't work for a few weeks? You close your eyes, but the numbers don't stop running. You're not thinking about getting rich. You're just trying to stop feeling one bad day away from broke. Now imagine the same scene, but with $10,000 quietly sitting in your account. The ceiling looks the same. The worries sound the same. But your reaction? Completely different. That car repair is an inconvenience, not a crisis. That unexpected bill is annoying, not terrifying. You're not suddenly wealthy, but you're no longer scared. Because here's the truth most people never experience. Once you save $10,000, everything changes. Not because of what you can buy, but because of how you think. That 5-figure cushion doesn't just stabilize your finances. It rewires how you make decisions, how you see risk, and even how you carry yourself. In this video, we're going to break down what actually happens, emotionally, mentally, and financially, the moment you cross that first real milestone. The shift from surviving to finally breathing. Number 1. The shift from panic to peace. When you have $0 in savings, life feels like walking a tightrope without a net. Every sound your car makes could be a $1,000 problem. Every text from your landlord makes your stomach drop. Even small surprises, a doctor visit, a broken phone, feel like emergencies. That's what living in financial survival mode does to you. You're not irrational. Your brain is doing exactly what it's built to do. Panic. When there's no buffer, every choice feels dangerous because one wrong move could send everything crashing. But the moment you hit $10,000, something subtle but powerful happens. You still get unexpected bills, but they no longer control you. You're still cautious, but not paralyzed. That same car repair becomes a decision, not a disaster. It's not just about money sitting in a bank account. It's the feeling of finally being able to exhale. You stop waiting for the next crisis. You start focusing on what's next, instead of what could go wrong. This peace doesn't make you lazy. It makes you sharper. Because when your mind isn't trapped in constant defense, you start seeing opportunities hiding in plain sight. For the first time, you're not just surviving the month, you're planning the next move. Number 2. Breathing room creates better decisions. When you're broke, every decision feels like a trap. You take the job you hate because rent's due Friday. You stay quiet at work instead of negotiating because you can't afford the risk. You buy cheap things that break faster because right now feels safer than long term. That's not bad judgment, that's survival thinking. And survival thinking kills opportunity. But when you have even a small cushion, $10,000 sitting quietly in your account, everything shifts. You stop making decisions out of fear and start making them out of strategy. You no longer say yes to toxic jobs because you can't afford to quit. You stop settling for bad deals, bad pay, or bad timing. You finally have the power to pause, to wait for something better, because your life isn't collapsing in the background. That pause is where smart decisions live. Money doesn't just buy things, it buys time to think. And that thinking time is what separates reactive lives from intentional ones. People often say, money changes you. They're right, but not in the way they think. It doesn't make you greedy, it makes you calm, and calm people make better choices. Number 3. The identity shift. Something unexpected happens after you save your first $10,000. Yes, your balance changes, but so does the person looking at it. For the first time, you start to see yourself as someone who's actually good with money. Not lucky, not surviving, capable. That small sense of control creates a ripple you can't fully measure. You walk a little differently. You check your bank app with curiosity instead of dread. You stop saying things like, I'm just not a money person, because clearly, you are. And that identity shift changes everything. When you see yourself as someone who saves, you naturally make better choices without even trying. You start noticing unnecessary expenses. You catch yourself comparing long-term value instead of short-term price. You begin to think in terms of what builds me instead of what distracts me. It's not about being cheap. It's about being intentional. That quiet sense of control builds confidence, and confidence compounds just like interest does. Because once you believe you can manage $10,000, your brain starts preparing for $20,000, then $50,000. The number grows, but the mindset is what multiplies it. Number 4. The ripple effect on every area of life. When your finances stabilize, everything else starts to follow. You don't just buy peace of mind, you become peaceful. Think about it. Money stress doesn't stay in your wallet. It leaks into your work, your sleep, your relationships. You snap quicker, you sleep lighter, you second guess yourself more, because every small issue feels like it could spiral into a crisis. But once you have that first cushion, that $10,000 safety net, life gets quieter. You're not lying awake counting bills. You're not starting the month in a panic. You have mental space again, and when your mind relaxes, everything improves. You think clearer. You perform better at work. You're more patient with people you love. You stop chasing urgency and start planning your next chapter. Money doesn't directly make you happy, but it removes the noise that keeps happiness out. It gives stability room to breathe. That's why people who reach their first $10,000 often say it feels different. They're not richer in possessions, they're richer in peace. And peace is what lets you finally make decisions from strength instead of fear. Number 5. Opportunities start appearing. Something strange happens once you stop living on financial edge. Life starts opening doors you couldn't even see before. That $10,000 doesn't just protect you, it positions you. You finally have the flexibility to say yes to things that move you forward, instead of just things that keep you afloat. Maybe it's a course that boosts your earning potential. Maybe it's a small move to a better city or a short break to change careers. Maybe it's investing in a side project that used to feel too risky. You start realizing the paradox of security. When you're safe, you can take smarter risks. The person with no savings has to cling to every paycheck. The person with a cushion can look for a better one. They can pause, breathe, and wait for the right opportunity instead of grabbing the first thing that shows up. And that's the real reward of $10,000. Not the purchases it allows, but the options it creates. Options are what freedom looks like in the early stages. It's not yachts and private jets, it's being able to choose from a place of strength, not desperation. The irony? The moment you stop needing money for survival is the moment you start using it to grow. Number 6. The start of true compounding. The first $10,000 is a wall between fear and freedom. Everything after that is a bridge. Up to this point, your money's main job was to protect you, to keep you from drowning. But once that foundation is built, your money can finally start working for you instead of against you. This is where compounding quietly enters the picture. Your savings begin earning returns. Those returns start earning their own returns. And before long, growth starts happening without you constantly pushing it forward. It's slow at first, painfully slow. But over time, those small percentages become real dollars. And those dollars start buying back the most valuable thing you'll ever own, time. That's the real shift after $10,000. You stop measuring progress by how hard you work and start measuring it by how well your money works. You stop chasing every dollar and start directing them like employees with a job to do. This is how wealth quietly begins. Not with a windfall, but with control. Not with a jackpot, but with consistency. That first $10,000 isn't the finish line. It's proof that you can build the habits that make wealth inevitable. Because once you know how to save your first 10, you already know how to save your next 100. Here's the part most people miss. Saving $10,000 isn't about the number. It's about what that number represents. It's the proof that you can trust yourself with money, that you can create stability in a world built on uncertainty, that you're capable of building something solid, quietly, patiently, on your own terms. And once you reach that point, something clicks. You start looking beyond safety and toward growth. You start asking, if $10,000 changed how I feel about money, what happens at $100,000? That's where the next transformation begins. Because your first 10K buys you peace, but your first 100K buys you momentum. It's the tipping point where compounding gets loud, where your money finally starts working harder than you do. So if you want to see exactly how that shift happens, watch the next video, Why the First 100K is the Hardest. It'll show you how to take the calm confidence you've built and turn it into the quiet acceleration that leads to real wealth.